Namaste. I'm Esther Dhanraj. It's an honor to join the Infinity Foundation channel in the ongoing fight against the Breaking India forces. Welcome to my show, The Ex-Christian Show. In this segment that is called the Ex-Christian Testimonies, I'll be connecting with people that have blissfully quit Christianity both at home and abroad. Ladies and gentlemen, every day we wake up to videos and posts on social media about people converting to Abrahamic religions. And it is really disheartening to see that. But the good news is, every now and then, a once strong and passionate believer of Jesus sees the light and quits Christianity. The difference between going into and coming out of Christianity is going in takes place in a distressed state of mind more often than not, and coming out takes place in full sanity of the mind. So, for everyone that comes out of Christianity, we must feel prouder than we feel sad when one of us goes in. So, who else but Dr. Anush Solomon Joy to premiere my show with? Let me give you a little background about Dr. Anush. Dr. Anush is an ex-Christian and proudly calls himself that. He was born and raised in a Christian missionary family. Dr. Anush was given the most conservative Christian upbringing and has been trained in evangelizing and pastoring from a very young age. He was raised with an access to one of the best Christian libraries in the country. As for his own contribution to the conversion scene and evangelism in India, Dr. Anush is a former pastor, evangelist, and author who spoke at hundreds of Christian mega events and religious conversion drives, both in India and abroad. And some of these events have collectively resulted in the conversion of tens of thousands of people to Christianity. Dr. Anush is also an eminent gospel song writer, which is Christian songs writer and singer, and he also plays a bunch of musical instruments. So, in addition to his career in evangelism, he's also a medical professional specializing in regenerative medicine and rehabilitation. He has represented the country in many international avenues with regard to the same. Dr. Anush is the first and the only SAT certified Asian doctor, and his expertise in this field of modern medicine has helped patients from all over the world revive their failing organs without surgery or transplantation. Namaste, Dr. Anush. Welcome to
Namaste.
the Ex-Christian Show.
Warm welcome to all the viewers of this program. I appreciate Esther Dhanraj in initiating such a significant series of program, the Ex-Christians of India, and those who are both at home and abroad. And as usual, it is very difficult to convert someone who is an Indian because of the kind of cultural roots Indians are having. But in spite of having such a strong cultural and spiritual and Vedic roots and beliefs and practices in this soil, Christian missionaries still manage to convert thousands of Hindus, thousands of non-Christians in Christianity. And I am one of the person who was instrumental in causing massive religious conversions in India. As you rightly mentioned, I am from a very conservative Christian background. I am from a family that runs one of the world's biggest NGOs, and we equip people to become missionaries. We give them academic certifications where a person can be qualified as a professional converter, a professional religious converter, where he can go into the society and convert people. And I used to work in such institutions where we equip people to become missionaries and pastors. And as you well said, I had a very deep involvement in my Christian life, I was a very devoted and pious Christian. At the same time, I had my own questions parallelly while I was going through such activities. And there were many things surfacing day by day where I had to question very foundations of Christian faith, and especially with regard to the born again experience, with regard to the second coming, with regard to the teaching that man is a sinner by birth, all those things I had to question with my own genuine, natural consciousness. But Christianity, as just like any other religion, it is a system of beliefs, and as long as you believe in whatever they teach, you are part of it. They will accept you. There is a saying that the religion wanted only believers, and they don't want people who undergo realizations. The moment you ask questions which in which that you profess to doubt their beliefs, you will become a detest for them. You will become a black sheep for them. They will start cornering you. They will start harassing you. They will label you as not a genuine Christian, as a backslider. That is the particular terminology they use, that you have become a backslider. Your faith has gone cold, and you don't have the right kind of belief. You are attacked by the demons, and you are going to the wrong teachings. You are reading the wrong books. You are listening to somebody wrong. In many ways, they will try to defend and try to help you come back to their fold. But how long can someone suppress the truth? And today or tomorrow, people will realize what is the truth. And I am one of the pioneers, or one of such people who came out from a hardcore Christian background. I have relatives from almost all denominations, both Protestant and non-Protestant. I mean Catholic, and friends from Orthodox, Evangelical, Marthoma, Pentecost, Brethren, Methodist, Baptist, Lutheran, and almost every. I am connected to almost every circle. Somebody who is prominent in all these churches which I mentioned. They know me personally, and I have interacted with them, and some way or other I have enabled them and helped them in their conversions, in the conversion activities.
Dr. Anush, are you a second generation or a third generation Christian? I know you're not a first generation Christian, so are you a second or a third generation Christian?
Let me proudly state this. I am not first generation or second generation or third generation. I should say I am from the primary generation of Christians in India.
Okay.
Because as per the historical records, it is my family, which was a Hindu family, that welcomed Saint Thomas and other people, or so-called missionaries who were into India. That's what they say. I don't believe. I don't have a take on any of those kind of things. This is what has been said. I don't believe, or I don't recommend you to believe or endorse such kind of things. These are the kind of sayings, claimings which the family make. I don't have any credit for it. I don't take any credit on it, and I don't propagate, or I don't want any kind of a particular treatment because of that. But this is what has been claimed by Christians and my family members, that we belong to a particular Hindu
very
family.
First Christians of India.
That pioneers, that nurtured Christianity in the soil of our country.
Dr. Anush has had an exposure to every denomination that Christianity has ever seen in the course of its history. So what I'm trying to tell here is, if there's one person that is well versed with the workings of Christianity, with the practices, with the spiritual practices or the evangelizing practices, and if there's anybody who can educate us about these things, it is Dr. Anush. So let's hear from him. Dr. Anush, tell our viewers, from the very beginning, your experience as a Christian, your born again experience, your experience as in the evangelical field, your experience in converting hundreds and thousands of Christians. So our viewers would like to hear all of it from the beginning.
I had a family background which is purely a Christian, and but at the same time, we were very orthodox in our beliefs, and in that orthodox upbringing, I had the training of maintaining a very pious, spiritual, and religious personal life. So I don't remember a day I missed reading the Bible or praying. And every morning, 5 o'clock, my grandmother will start singing Christian hymns, and the entire family they get up, and we all sit on the floor on the mat, and we join her in the singing, and we sing at least 2 songs in the morning itself, and one is her choice and one is our choice, and then we read a portion from the Bible. And certain days, my grandmother or one of the family member will do a 10 minutes discourse on that if they have something exciting about it. And then we close it with one of the members spraying it. And it takes, the entire thing takes around, around 30 to 45 minutes. And this happens on a daily basis. And we never missed doing this kind of things. And then only we go for other activities, brushing our teeth and, refreshing and making breakfast and things like that. And throughout the day also, we are involved in evangelical activities in which we communicate with people, we receive resources, and we send the resources to right kind of people, and so many people coming to us for counseling. And our home was like a Christian corporate setup where people from all over the world, not from India, from all parts of the world, including Americans, Canadians and Africans, and all of them from all parts of the world, they used to come, and we had a very big home and a guest house facility where they come and stay as a family. They bring gifts for us, and I don't think there is any kid in our country who had this many kind of toys from abroad, and we lavished on Hot Wheels and things, and many kind of goodies from all across the globe, because the missionaries come and go. And my father was working in one of the vessels, one of the carrier ships, which is very famous. You can see the Logos one and Eulos one, Logos two. All those things are ships, that is to carry books, evangelical Christian books all over the world, floating, world's biggest floating libraries. So he used to bring bulks of books, and we had not one room, many rooms that had books on eschatology, soteriology, angelology, ecclesiology. So separate rooms and cupboards for all those things. And we used to update our literature things, and we also used to print literature which can motivate people come to Christianity and distribute that. And we had a room to keep the Bibles. I still remember the big wagons, lorries coming, and people. We have deputed people to take it from there and carry it and keep it, and then take it for distribution. And we also used to encourage the Gideon Bibles, the Gideon's International Bibles. So we used to carry all those things and distribute all over the world. In all over, especially in our country, in India. In such a circumstance, my only, interest was to take over or enhance what my parents would do. And I strongly believe that this is the only way mankind can be saved from judgment, from disaster, from disease or hell. And so I was very pious and committed to the cause, and I was deeply involved in such kind of things.
But just by virtue of being born in a Christian family, one does not become a Christian. That's what Christianity says. You have to be what is called born again. Did you have any such experience of that particular moment where you were told that, okay, now Anush is ready. He's a Christian, he's a born again Christian. Tell us about an experience like that.
See, the born again experience, according to me, was a little bit funny. I will like to describe it that manner itself in the latter part of this conversation. What has been taught to me was you sin by birth. You are judged for a particular disaster. You are doomed for a disaster because you are a sinner by birth. And in order to escape that situation, you need to be born again. And in the Bible also, we read that unless you are born again, you will never see the kingdom of God. So I asked my parents and the other missionaries and pastors, what does it mean by the very experience called born again? So then this is what they taught me. So you need to confess that you are a sinner and that Christ is the Savior who died on the cross and in order to save you. And once you confess and believe this, you will become a born again man. So I did this many times and so many times because I wanted this born again experience. And it's an experience. It's not a concept. And but I cannot feel any kind of a change. So then I will approach them again and I will make my complaint known. See, as per your standards, I have did this confession, and I cannot find any change in me. I am still the same. I can still say lie. I can still help people also. Good or bad is depending on my volition, my decision. And I cannot find any change. No, I am part of the church because I choose to be part of the church. I am active in the church because I choose to become active in the church. I choose to say only truth because I made the decision, conscious decision to do that. But I cannot find a marked difference all of a sudden as per your whatever you have made me believe. I cannot feel something called abrupt transformation in my life by doing all sort of rituals of for becoming a born again person. And then I realized, they say that there is something called backsliding, and even if you're born again, you can lose your salvation. And there is a category that teaches that no, salvation cannot be lost. You will be only punished for the sins which you do. All such kind of conflicts of opinions and doctrines began there. And I know that how Christians fight over such kind of silly things. And then I recognized that many of their doctrines were contextual instructions. And there are churches that insist women should be silent. Women should be silent in the church, inside the church. And then I realized that that was a contextual instruction in the Bible, which they made as a compulsory doctrine. So there are many controversies like that. Then I realized, I myself began to say that there is a proper definition for becoming born again. That is nothing but the word born, that the very way it sounds, it has a different spelling also. It is not BORN. It can be BONE also, born again. Your bones, your flesh and bones, born again. That means God has kept a door for you in heaven. It has a specific shape. And if you have an extra fat on your body, you cannot pass through that gate. And in order to pass through, you have to become born again. You have to lose all your fat, all your flesh, all your uncleanness. In the Old Testament days, when they do the sacrifice, there is an instruction to take away all the fat. Fat is considered as not clean, not good for consumption. Even God doesn't like fat. So when people have a lot of fat, fleshiness on their body or life, you are not born. You are not born again. So I used to mock at these people that this is all about becoming born again rather than any other experience. So they have created something. Even when Bible speak about this kind of born again experience, it has to do with a transformation. That's all, a core transformation. That is what Bible means. But they insist on somebody having the so-called born again procedure and born again experience, which was very unreal for me. There is nothing called a procedure that can make someone born again, or an overnight phenomena that brings a kind of a born again experience to that person. So all those things put me in a dilemma, and I started questioning the very doctrines of Christianity.
So what you're saying is born again experience is not an experience that happens in the realm of time and space. It's just a state of mind, or it's just an idea.
Yeah, it's an ideological shift as well as the
Ideology.
shift, and basically the Christian corporate, the so-called churchianity, they use this particular terminology in order to
Did you say
bring a person.
churchianity?
Pardon me?
Did you say churchianity?
Exactly, exactly. I use that word churchianity.
That,
Very
that's
deliberately use
that's
the word churchianity. Because the present day there is nothing called Christianity. It is all churchianity. It is the show of churches and various denominations. So they use this particular thing called born again as the procedure or the protocol which someone has to fulfill in order to join that congregation. So if you come to that congregation, you say certain things, the pastor dictates or the priest dictates over you, and they make the statement that you are born again, and you believe that you are born again. So I have witnessed the so-called missionaries and pastors making non-Christians undergo, the new believers, the very procedure of born again, becoming born again, where they are made to confess that they are a sinner and Christ is the only savior they are going to have. And then they're saying, they're confessing all those things. The pastor or the evangelist or the priest will declare them as born again. And after this experience, also, that person is the very same person. You don't have any change. The only change is that there is a shift in his religious orientation. Previously, he was a Muslim or a Hindu. Now he started attending the church, listening to the Bible, but by character and by his own experience, there is nothing, there is no change there. And I used to question all these things. So then later, it became very evident for me that these people are making a kind of a drama, a kind of a ritual where they are making people believe that by saying certain things, you got transformed and you got certified and qualified to receive heaven, which is not true at all. See, just by saying that you are a sinner and Christ died for you and that you believe the so and so things, and then somebody declaring that by doing that you are a born again person thereafter, it sounds very illogical for me. It doesn't have any soundness to it. Then the more I questioned, they began to suspect my capacity to believe, and I am not a good believer. My ability to believe things are becoming very less. And I slowly I became a black sheep, in the Lord. No matter how good you oriented yourself, how big you were in that particular community, the moment you stop believing and start questioning, then they will degrade you. They will try to correct you and all, but then they will slowly set you aside from all the official involvements and the gatherings and the incidents of the church and organization, and they will push that person aside. And thereafter also, if you go ahead and question or expose them, then they will target you. They will do some kind of they will try to do some kind of honor killing, because you are a detest for God himself, they will declare. And you are an enemy of mankind and God and God's kingdom and salvation plan, they will declare. And they will try to corner you and ridicule you and paint you black before everybody.
My next question to you, Dr. Anush, is growing up during your college days, school and college days, what was your lay evangelical experience like?
Yeah, most of the Indian upbringing is a very spiritual upbringing. And since I am from a conservative, devoted Christian family atmosphere, I reflected all those qualities in my college days. And in fact, it was a matter of competition for me to prove myself that I am a better Christian than others. And what I believe is the only thing, and I wanted all my classmates to know that this is the only way you can reach heaven. So I began to make a database, which became a matter of appreciation both in the college and in my church, as well as in my family circle, and in the society also. And I made this database in such a way that it contains three columns. One is for the names, the other is for the various concerns they're having, the disease or some kind of troubles they are undergoing in their life. And the third column was for to know whether my prayers are answered. So now and then I will go and check with them. I will tell them, dear friend, I am praying with regard to so and so things, citing your name. And how is that issue? Are you okay? Are you doing well? And then I made sure that whatever money I got in my hands, I will spend it for buying the best Bible version for my classmates. So I began to search for so many Bibles, and then I came across a Bible which was printed abroad, which that time was not available in India. Then I ordered that particular version of the Bible, and because I found that that particular version can get across the message to my friends in a more transparent and easier manner. So I decided to order those Bibles, and to every classmate of mine, whether they are Muslim or a Hindu or someone belonging to another denomination of Christianity, I made sure that I handed over personally one copy of the Bible, of that particular Bible, not the common Bible which is read by Christians, but something which I felt which will definitely influence them. The way it was written, the language is so simple, and but it was a costly Bible at that time, and it was an elegant in its printing and appearance and everything. So it was like an asset for lifetime achievement for me to implant this Bible in their homes or in their hands, so that today or tomorrow I wanted them to be born again. So so I made sure that everybody received the Bible, and the result was 14 of my classmates. They became not only Christians, they became hardcore ambassadors of Christianity. In other words, some are pastors, some run NGOs, some are very successful missionaries, and some run Christian institutions, and they made their connections all over the world. Today, and to the surprise and shock of their life, the very person that brought them to Christianity has gone out of Christianity. You see the kind of
The
transformation.
irony. Yes, yes. So I also want to tell you, I thought I did a lot of damage to our country, to our culture. I see that you did more damage than me in terms of converting people.
Yeah, basically, I strongly believed that unless I do this, I don't want my friends to be lost, because that is what has been taught. If you
It was
don't
done in
believe
a good
that,
intention.
yeah, you are lost. You will land up in hell. And I don't want my good friends, my dear friends, my classmates land up in hell. I can't imagine that. So my thing is that my entire assignment, I feel, is that no matter who I become in this lifetime, whether I become a doctor or whether I become a pastor or an engineer or whoever I become, I should somehow save my friends from the burning hell. And if I fail to do my part, and I had the belief that God will ask me, and He will call me accountable for denying my duty. It was like a very fanatic thing for me. Like the how the jihadis believe. Unless you convert the entire Kafirs to Islam, you will be judged by God. I had
Right.
the similar kind of that fanatic belief that unless you convert to the entire world into Christianity, they will end up in hell, and God will not accept them in heaven. So this is the only way you can help mankind, spread Christianity, and save and start that thing in your circumstances, in your own vicinity, in your college, in your class. Do that. So I was so much involved, and today I have become a liability. If my friends are hearing, I am, if anybody is hearing me, to whom I have shared the gospel, I apologize them and I request them to hear the episodes further so that they will listen. You will understand what are those reasons that digged out a person, that released a person from such hardcore Christian conservative settings. That is something which the entire mankind should listen. It has nothing personal. I'm telling you, it is purely ideological. So I wanted. It is not that I had a personal hurt here and there. Somebody created trouble for me, so I left Christianity. I sought solace somewhere. No, no, no. There is core ideological points which I wanted to highlight before my friends and humanity that transformed me, that helped me come out of Christianity.
So, ladies and gentlemen, before we go into the most important part of the interview, wherein Dr. Anush is going to tell us the reasons for quitting Christianity, I would like to sum up everything that he just said about lay evangelism. So, there is a lay evangelist in every Christian. There is a missionary, there is a proselytizer in every Christian. Every Christian. One does not have to just take his Bible in his hand and go knocking on doors to convert people. By virtue of just being a Christian, an individual is a missionary. That is because of two or three reasons, which I will spell it out for you. And Dr. Anush, you can tell me if I'm right or not. So the first reason is it's biblical. So there is something called the Great Commission of Jesus Christ. And the Bible itself lays the burden of going out into the world and converting everybody that is not a Christian into Christianity. So that burden is given to a Christian by the Bible itself, so to say by Jesus himself. The second reason why Christians are in a rush to convert non-Christians is the sooner they convert a lot of people, the sooner Jesus is going to come back again. So, Dr. Anush, you can tell me if this point, I'm right on this point or not.
Yeah, these 2 points are very valid and very well taught in Christian circle. But there are many versions to it, and there are school of thoughts where it says that Christ asked his disciples, only his disciples, to go to the ends of the world and preach the gospel. Only that is meant for a person who is called to do that and who received the gift from the Holy Spirit in order to do that. And the rest all should support such an event. And the next thing is that every Christian is a promoter of the same, and should evangelize the world. And that particular teaching has been brought by the Christian corporates, so that they can add more, numbers. They can add the population to their circle and make their firm strong and well built. So there is no compulsive thing interested on a lay Christian in the Bible where they have to go and preach the gospel. They need to live a life of a Christian where others can be attracted. And that is one thing. And the second thing is there is a teaching that Christ comes only after a certain number of people get saved. That means salvation is only meant for a closed group. Once the ship is having the right amount of passengers, it will depart the shore. It will start its journey. But as per, there are many things that contradict that. The Bible says that God so loved the world, so He should wait for the entire world to be saved. It's not that as many number of people, and so better earlier the better. The earlier you can convert maximum people into Christianity, the sooner Christ will come back. and that is one teaching. But the Bible contradicts all such kind of teachings by giving certain chronological landmarks. After that, the Christ should come. There are seasons marked. There are signs marked in the Bible that depicts when, not exactly the time, but exactly the season where Christ is going to come back. And but when you study all these things in its depth, uh, oh, it is something shocking. Let me tell you beforehand, Christians have their faith based on a historical background without verifying the background of the history. I mean, they should also learn the history about the history. Once they understand the history about the history, oh, that is going to be a disaster for all the Christian activities and the Christian foundations. The truth is truth. You cannot change it. But you can fool people who are willing to believe rather than undergo realizations. It is easy to fool those class of people who are available readily for believing anything. So the Christian corporates are fooling those believers. They cannot fool anyone who have the capacity to analyze and evaluate and realize something, whether it's logical or truth. So what you said is correct. These two things are happening all over the world. They have that propaganda and the agenda of spreading gospel and making every Christian as a lay evangelist. I agree to that. Every Christian as a lay evangelist, because they wanted the world to become Christian as early as possible, as effective as possible. And they also teach that if you want to go to heaven, Christ has to come back. And if Christ has to come back, then there's enough number of people should be on our dogs.
But nothing about this is biblical.
Nothing. None of these things have biblical validation. It is all interpreted and being more specific,
Great accusation.
exaggerated, or manipulated for corporate benefit.